noloshu way mucjisooyin badan tahay maanta se sheekadan waxaan hubaa qof kasto oo idinka ka mid yihiin inuu yahay ama ay tahay inuu daawado sheekadani sababta oo ah waxa ay leedahay waayaheeda iyo warbixinteeda waxaan maanta gurigeeda igu marti qaaday oo warbixin aan ka qaadi doona ama aan wareysi la yeelan doona walaasheen Hodan Siraad Hodan waa gabadh laba jeer Ilaahay subxaanahu wa ta'aala uu ka badbaadiyay cudurka kansarka waxay waaye arag u tahay marxaladihii ay soo martay haddii aan idin si taabto mar kamid ah Hodan waxa ay gashay stage-ka loo yaqaan stage 2 ama xaaladda labaad laakiinse waxa ka darnaa taaba iyada oo hooyo ah oo ilmo haysata aroos ah noloshu ay u cusub tahay faraxsan ayuu mar labaad cudurka ku soo laabtay waxaana uu la gaaray ilmaa iyo stage-ka afraad halkaasi oo xaaladeedu ay halis gashay muddo badanna ay ku sugnayd cusbitaal waa nolol farxad ahayd oo hal mar isu bedeshay murugo waa nolol mararka qaar kood quus gaadhay laakiin Ilaahay wuxuu yiri la taqnadu min rahmatillah Hodanna waxay qaadatay aayadaas Quraanka ah ha ka quusanin raxmadda iyo naxariista Ilaahay kadib Hodan way badbaaday maanta Hodan waa gabadh yar oo dhalinyaro ah oo qurux badan haysatana laba ubada oo Ilaahay ku arsaaqay xaaladda Hodan ay gaadhay oo ahayd inaanay xataa caruur dhali doorin ayuu Ilaahay ka gudbiyay uga heeliyay qadarka iyo qoraalka waa wax Ilaahay gacantiisa ku jira inagana waxa laynooga baahan yahay dadaal Hodan waxa haysataa ayaan iyo Amir waxay nooga sheekayn doontaa sheekadeeda waxay nooga sheekayn doontaa si ku badbaaday sidoo kale Hodan waa gabadh u dhaqaaqda arrimaha dadka la nool xanuunka kansarka dhiirigelisa ka hadasha masraxiyada waaweyn ka sheekaysa inay noloshu isbedeli karto ku booqato cusbitaalada waxayna leedahay organization weyn oo ku caawiso dadkaasi Hodan waxay nooga baahan tahay inaynu sheekadeeda dhageysano meel dheerna gaarsiino si dadka la xaaladda ama dadkii soo maray xanuunkan oo laga yaabo qaar badan inay qarsadaan ama lagu caayo cudurkan Ilaahay keenay ee Hodan maanta ka bogsatay ay dhiirigelin ugu noqoto waxaan ku suganahay guriga Hodan waxaan u socdaa inaan aniga iyo Hodan maanta aanu sheeko badan wada yeelano beelasha xajista soo qaadasho ahaaga iyo sharaabkaaga si aad barnaamijkani u daawato waad mahadsantahay Hodan
Hi Vaya. Thank you so much for coming to my house today. I'm so glad we're able to talk about this and talk about like cancer in the Somali community, inshallah, and hopefully we're able to get our story to somebody that it's actually impacted.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Waan ogaanayo sheekadaada bal ugu horeyn maxaad ka xasuusan kartaa yaraantaadii iyo noloshaad soo martay siday ahayd intayna u gudbin markuu kugu dhacay cudurkani kansarku
markan yara like you know much ma xasuusday because hooyaba like wax kasta dhaqtarka la hadlaayeen all I remember is my point of view iyo like ani sida maraayay iyo ani waxaan like sameynay and stuff so ma xasuusdaa like ano caadi iska ah like normal school aad jire dugsiga aad jire I used to eat like home cooked meals I lived in a good neighborhood like you know so like all the things that like now looking back like oh my god this causes environment ka all these things that cause cancer like I didn't think I had it and everything you know like really gay like cancer like you know only then other than waxay like school ku tusaan and everything really gay ma arkin qof cancer qaba mise cancer ma maqleen mise maxaan u leen jiray cadaanka bis intay ku dhacday I never thought it was qof Soomaali really gay ma arkin qof Soomaali ku dhacday and everything you know so months prior to me getting the diagnosis I didn't cancer I kept going to the hospital I think it was like February of 2015 came out and I kept being sick I remember clearly pneumonia those are the early stages of the cancer stuff and they told me months later hadana samarkii waan ku noqday maxay dhaheen pneumonia qabta hadana like ka guriga satag I just hooyaday maxay malin jirtay like jiraalo you know qof maanta iska jirin like you know pneumonia maanta ku soo noqonaysa and stuff and then from there summertime I got to school wala xire my family everybody was going on vacation ay aadayeen hooyaday maxay dhahaysay oh maxaan u soconaa China and Dubai man ra'isa like you know we lish keenis and everything she was like sabaxna raac but the thing is that same summer I was in tahfid class at Jira Masha al-Hassan and all the gabdhaha class ku jireen like that summer dugsiga dhameyn rabaan like the group kana dhan like dugsiga dhameyn Quraanka dhameyn rabne So hadaan bixi lahaa waa lika reebi lahaa, and then I wouldn't have graduated with my class. So I was like, oh, I don't want to go. I want to stay back. I like you know when you're a child, maxaa rabtaa facaadi darka inta like you know you want to graduate with your friends, you want to do this with your friends wax kasta, you don't want to kaliga inta lagu reebo. So I stayed back. Ani aabahay and my younger sister stayed back. And I was going to Duxi 7 days a week. Finally, like school, I leave Blau and everything. And like the second week into school, mahal dahe graduation ka of like you know all the missions markay isku maan jiray commission center ka 2015 I had, and we had the graduation ko xasku diyaarinayna. Finally, alhamdulillah, I finished the Quran and everything. And then that Sunday we had a graduation. Mind you, this whole time, and dugsi was diyaarinaya wax kasta caadiya. I have no symptoms. I have like no none of the things or lagu garto kansarka and all that stuff. Like I'm perfectly healthy. I was eating my food normally. I had no symptoms, nothing. Okay, and then all of a sudden markay maalintii oo graduation ka ahayd caadi we went to the graduation place. I walked across the stage. That night I went home, darkan iska bedel and everything. My dad wuxuu ka iska seexo biri. Like the next day we didn't have school, so September 2015 Labor Day Monday ahead, so we didn't have school. And so me and my friends, we all said we're gonna go to Mall of America. So subixi markaan soo kacay maxaan isku arkay like wax kuusan like on my shoulder and everything, like wax intaas la ego kuusan soo baxday and everything.
Marka cudurku wuxuu ka bilaabmay qoorta ku
halay my lymph node and everything, like right here my shoulder. And then from there I still didn't have no symptoms or anything. Just gabarka just felt like kind of relaxed, like and I was okay. So my dad was like, oh, probably حالي صحة أو صحته. I continued to go to Mall of America with my friends, and then my friends went to say, I said, you guys look at this, it's so weird because I like the past couple of days I got a joke as well and everything, you know. So I'm like, oh my god, look, like all of a sudden I remember Buffalo Wild Wings at Mall of America and jogging, and I was like, yeah, you guys, I was like, yeah, I'm going to the feria, and they're like, it looks like مدح كلنتك عصو بحس and everything. And from there I was like, yeah, it's funny. And then like we went back to school, everything resumed normally. And then markaas aan isku arkay like qando, and then jirka dhana like isoo noqotay what is it called, very faded, like midabka dhana ay ka tagayo. Aniga dhan waan iska daalanahay, maanta waan jiifaa in school or class waan jiifaa, markaan school kasoo baxo waan jiifaa, habeenkii waan jiifaa, like ani dhan daal aan isku arkay like qof oo melatonin isiiyo kale and everything. And maxaan isku arkay cunto dhan waan ka go'ay, I didn't want to eat food. Ani dhan dabeecadda dhan ay ka tagtay, like maanta dhan waa qof xanaaqsan, qof iska daalan baan ahay. And then the main thing on the shoulder, like I can't even boorsada wax ma gashan kari, like xanuun ma igu haya, but like culays ay igu haysaa and everything, like there's a culays shoulder ka iga saaran.
Marka aapa ma tustay
I want to send everything. Ayek mahimlena muruq. My dad, my mom, she came back from vacation. Muruq imlena. Everybody around me muruq imlena, because borsade they used to be very heavy. Marcus borsa school ka and everything. So they think that borsa like school ka has ikaso bihi or something, or muruq like muruq hun mes garab they call got them something. And then marcus so and everything, almost like a week and a half. Sihun qandi waxas so arke and everything. I was like really qandi xuna isku arke. Maxaan isku arkay like aniga dhan just like tabarta dhan ay ka tagtay and everything, wax ma samayn kari, wax ma qaadi kari, wax kasoo neefturaya. And then from there hooyaday she used to have business and everything, and there used to be ladies that used to work there. So the ladies markay arkeen waxay dhaheen, oh aniga ku dili karno. So maalin ay ku ii wala diliigayaan, like you know culeyskooda everything. I'm just a 15-year-old girl, so culeyskooda markay misalkooda markay ay ka isticmaalayaan saliid and everything, the tumor was growing under the nerves, so tumor kawakana, and the nerves were going on top of it. So muscle and then, so it was just like it's like qinjirka ahead oo si weynaade, and then xididiyasha and everything korko like hoostooda ku sameeyay, so xididiyasha iyo muscle-ka kor ahaa. So markay sameynayeen
inay duugaan ama daliigaan,
yeah, markay sameynayeen saas like xanuuni waxa ay ku soo bilaamada and everything. Ani dhan waan sii jeeday madax xanuun waxaas. So hooyadii maxay la carartay Children's Hospital in St. Paul, and maxay dhaheen, oh yeah, she just ayada mayna umalaynin like what's it called, waxay iga soo baxay like wax weyn mayna umalaynin, because weligaa ma umalaynaysa like cunigaaga intuu kansar qabo and everything, especially adoo Soomaali ah, like you're not gonna put in your head, oh cunigay kansar ha qabo, maskaxda message ma aadayso. So she said, yeah, gabadheeda she has fever, maxay qabtaa, like maanta way daalan tahay, like we don't know what it is, probably dhiig la'aan miya, like maxaa waaye ayada like she looks very gray, like something is going on with her. And dhakhtarka wuxuu dhahay, oh okay, hey, we're gonna do x-ray, and then we're gonna do a couple other things with her and stuff, we're gonna check dhiigeeda fiirinna all that stuff so dhakhtarkii markii wixii dhan imtixaanka wixii dhan wala sameeyeen maxay dhahan ha she's okay healthy waa ka guriga gay ay ku dhahaan anoo qamarkayga hagaajisanayo buu dhahay oh can you please soo kici kartaa albaabka istaagno for a second and I was like okay albaabkan istaagay he said garbahada caadi ka dhig iyo like caadi u istaagan stuff I said okay hay
marka dhakhtarka arkay inuu nabar ka soo baxay
ha dhakhtarka markuu arkay asaga dhan uu isku naxan everything uu baxay he said inta sii sugaya like ha bixina discharge paperkii wixii dhan uu weeri wana siiyay tuu muxuu dhihi rabay baxa
iska tag uu dhahay
ha muxuu dhahay ha nothing mana arkin everything ka iska tag uu dhihi rabay so markuu garabku arkaba uu dhahay kaale albaabka istaag uu fiiri labada garab isku fiirinay first muxuu malina ana inta si xun u fadhiyo something markuu arkay garabkii hal garab baa bararsan weyn wuxuu dhahay oo habixina sugaha marin everything I said hey dhakhtar kale uu weeyay ayaga dhan maxay isla teamkii dhan meesha shaqeynayeen maxay dhaheen gabadha ma bixi karto way intay saxata like istibaalka we're going to admit her into the hospital so my mom was very confused marka she said gabadhi maxaa la dhahay wax ma qabtay maxaa ku dhacay everything and stuff so that next week dhan aan istibaalka jooga maxaa loo yeeray infectious diseases ear nose and throat maxaa loo yeeray neuro like every department loo yeeray and everything because every department xirawan intay ogaadaan waxay tahdo there was this doctor his name was Dr. Messenger muxuu ku shaqeeyaa Children's Hospital St. Paul and mostly in Children's Hospital in Minneapolis he's a specialty doctor he specializes in blood marrow and cancer like blood cancers iyo xasu ku specialize
takhasus oo dhuuxa in dadka dhiigga laga bedelo iyo kansarka
ha so markuu imaadan everything we fiiriyo anigu fiiriyo the symptoms wax ka soo fiiriyo nin duq aad duq waay and everything and hooyadii aabahay bumanaku bixiyay and everything wuxuu dhahay banaanka ma ku hadli karaa he's like oh aniga like you know I think he was like Palestinian he was Pakistan no not Pakistan he was some type of Arab it was Palestinian he wasn't Pakistan but it was some type of Arab waha and he Muslim no waha like diintiisa wixii like you know arkaysan stuff like ducay wuxuu aqrinay hooy u sheegay muxuu dhahay oh like you know gabadina I saw this a lot of times today he said symptom yasha doctor I was like for a doctor for before your daughter was born with and everything
doctor ahaan jiray
ha he said doctor
inta soo dhalan gabadha
ha he said abadana doctor ahaan jiray a lot of people aan arkay a lot of dad aan soo arkay symptom yasha waxan and everything he said all of the symptoms ay haysato all the muuqaalaha dhan uu arkay muxuu dhahay waa cancer like boqolkiiba ma la soo jeedin cancer waay fa muxuu dhahay just to be safe maxaan sameynaa biopsy and then biopsy no sheegi so biopsy is going to be proof intay cancer gabadha qabto
biopsy-guna waa in testiga lagu ogaado ama shaybaarka lagu ogaado cudurka kansarka
ha so muxuu dhahay intaan fiirino waaye and I said okay haye hooyada aabahay soo galeen maxay dhaheen oo biriya lagu qalayaan stuff dhakhtarka muxuu maleeyaa something but we're not sure ayakana like way ka qarinayaan and everything because it's like you're 15 years old marabtid intaad telefoonka aqaadid aad search up graysid like oh saxan xasa qabtaa and everything and stuff you know so doctor everybody is telling them like oh be very like precise go to waxa u sheegtiin and everything like go and like ha ka nixin and stuff so I had my surgery on Friday gurigan tagan everything like meesha luqunta like laga qalay injirka la soo bixiyay usbuuci barka bacdin everything arbaca markay hadeen soo waceen and they said oh what's it called ma kartiin Children's Hospital in Minneapolis ana kana maxaan degneen Ramsey County we lived in Roseville so our whole life maxaan degneen Children's St. Paul so we again ma aadan Children's Minneapolis male Children's Minneapolis laga tagay hatta mooyada mina aqaan so she was like okay hey so we went to Children's Minneapolis and maxaa lagu dhahay oh okay doctorka who was really nice and everything aragne and muxuu dhahay oh I have gabdha waan haysta I have and everything all around your age and stuff I have a lot of patients on arc and everything and I think that like you know you're going to survive with and everything and stuff he said waad badbaadontaa he was saying hooyaday ugu dhahay like she's like okay maxay qabtaa way ka badbaadiyay laakiin maxaa waxa noo sheeg muxuu dhahay gabadhiina maxay qabtaa Hodgkin's lymphoma which is cancerka dhiiga waay and everything dhiiga cancerka lagu sheegay and everything and maxay dhahay meesha soo bararta maxaa la qalay muxuu dhahay waxaas maxaa markay cancerka dhiiga ee cinjiraha iyo waxaas ay gasho way soo bararaan and everything like they overgrow and stuff and everything the tumor that's the whole cancerka maxaa wax oo uncontrollably badanaysa waay and everything the cells and then from there he said that oh daawadeedii waxay u bilaaban karnaa like hadda like you know very early like it's very fast growing like he said that daawada like I'm very positive that daawada durbo intay ku baabi'i doonto and stuff so hooyo like everybody like waa loo sii sheegay ninkii duqa ahaa oo sii sheegay like oh gabadhan cancer ay qabtaa boqolkii like imtixaankii la qalay ba so like boqolkii dhihi doona and everything so hooyaday markay like people ay la hadlaysa and everything her family members everybody maxay ku dhahayeen alla gabadhan waxaas macahe maxaa waaye ilaahayo mise like what's it called wax kala jiran everything gabadha inta Afrika la geeyo waaye oo like quraani wax lagu soo akhriyo oo like xaggas ay tagtay and everything so dhakhtarkay ku dhahday oh okay dhakhtarka muxuu leeyahay your daughter cancerkeeda is fast growing so inta hadda daawo loo bilaabo waaye like hadda isla weegan daawada laga bilaabo laga sii gaarsiiyo intayna sii faafin meelaha lagu sii faafin and then hooy maxay u dhahday 2 bilood ma siin kartaa what's it called gabadheeda like Africa waxaas wadankan ka bixiyo probably markas like stress waxa oo keenan everything stuff whatever with maxay malin other things like so she was like oh wadankan ka bixiyo ka bacdi 2 bilood mise bil ka bacdi and everything aan hadana scan ku celino intaan wax kale aan daawiyo waxaan ku borodin which is true because a lot of people maxaa la maqlaa daawada markay dadka qaataan intay ku dhintaan or mise like a lot of bad side effects waxaas and everything so a lot of even hatta not only Somali but even Adanka they try to look at other ways to save their children because like qof weyn iska difaaci kara iska hayn kara laakiin ciyaal like is way stronger than ciyaalka and everything and stuff so it's like the chemotherapy is very bad it's very strong so it like the old mom high so like most kids they don't have a wood they could iska xajiyaan so hooyada maxay dhahday oh ma Afrika ma geen karaa quraani waxaan ku soo akhrinaa waxaas dhakhtarkii markii muxuu dhahay 2 bilood gabadhaad ma bahaysato sanadka dhamaadkeed ma gaarayso and this whole time waxaan dhan ka dhacayso maxay ahayd September of 2015 marka uu
warka inaad dimanaysid
so muxuu dhahay cancer there's 2 different types of cancers there's 2 different categories of the usually cancer maxaa la geeyaa aggressive which is like fast growing ones or hadana there's fast growing ones and there's ones that are fast growing or hadana daawada waxba ka taraynin wax kasta ku sameyn kartaa daawo kasta siin kartaa like they're not going to respond any like to the chemotherapy they're not going to respond good laakiin maxaa jira qaar oo xoogaa iska way xun yihiin laakiin way xoogaa iska fiican yihiin because ma sii faafiso aad ma sii faafiso and everything
marka adiga kansarka uu keeguha
Kegi was the fast growing one I had it was very aggressive it was very fast growing maxay dhahan like durbo like hadda markay ayaga injirka ay bixiyeen maxay dhahan injirka from imtixaankay sameeyeen and everything maxay dhahan waan aragnaa already the cells like already we see outside of her body as well and everything so muxuu rabaa daawada durbo iyo wax kasta u balaawa hooyo markii like ayadana way isku naxday she's just like oh my god like so waxaan ku dhici kartaa like what causes what happened she had a lot of questions and then dhakhtarka muxuu dhahay like it's up to you why would have everything like daawada ma rabtaa amse like what do you want to do and everything what's your decision so markii dambe waxaan ku dhahay okay what my decision is that tomorrow maalinta ku xigtana ciid ay noo ahayd and everything everybody was celebrating Eid what's it called that habeenkaasna it wasn't Eid Ramadan but it was Eid weyneed ahayd and everything the one with no Ramadan so that's how the only way I know the difference so markii dambe we left the place and ka tagnay and everything hooyo maxay wacday eeday and like aabahay everybody wala wacday and everybody was like like it was very sad news for them and stuff they were just like oh my god and then I told the doctor before I left I said that maxaan rabaa tomorrow's Eid and I want to just have one good weekend with because we didn't have school the rest of the week so I said I want to have one good weekend with my family and my friends because Eid friends everybody is school maadaan and stuff it was very normal ahead and everything I feel like everybody like what's it called one school in man everybody was very happy everybody like it was more like family hana school in man and everything and then all of our friends I feel like it was very fun it was one of the most memorable ones from my teenage years it's one of the ones on like adu xasuusta and everything and then so the following week was October 2nd ahead markaas daawada li bilaaw and everything Friday 6 a.m. all day sogal aabbahay kaxeeye the flamboyant waxay bilaaween and finally chemotherapy gaan bilaawe so the chemotherapy dhakhtarka waxay ii sheegayeen and the nurses waxay ii sheegayeen isku diyaarinaaye maxay ahayd like xanuun badan like dareemi doontaa saana dareemaysaa waxaas and to me I was like okay hey the first day marka qaadanaysid ay daawada actually kula socoto wax ma dareemaysid it's just flambo caadi kula socoto kala waaye maxaad dareemi doontaa like the following day or mise hours ka bacdi markaasay xoog u bilaawi doontaa intay shaqayso intay your cells ay disho and like wax kasta kansarka wax kasta ay so like disho like yeah So from there, the next day I started feeling pain. My first round of chemo was like horrible. Oh my god, it was really bad because ma ogeyn what to expect. Ma ogeyn how xanuun noqon doonto. Ma ogeyn like gacmaha lugaha intay xanuujin doonto, afka dhan ay xanuujin doonto wax kasta. So the following time, a week and a half later, marka my second round aan sameynayay, I went to the nurse ay dhahaysa maanta inta imaato. Oh, ilmaha kale floorka oo kansarka ku dhacay and everything, or like daawadi waxa soo socdaan movie daawanayaan caawa ma soo bixi ma daawani. And I used to be like, no, I don't want to watch anything, because teenager on a high. I'm like, oh no, I'm too cool. Marka mas taga ba other teenagers baba jogaan ba ilma like juniors, seniors, and then ilma middle school ku jiraan and everything. It's like it's not only like ilma
yar marka hospitalka dhexdiisii.
Ha, in isbitaalka dhexdeeda mise the floor of the cancer ward. There's a mail room or TV room, media room la dhaho, oo ilmaha like iska imaan karaan, game isla dheeli karaan, because marka isbitaalka ku jirtid and everything, adi dhan like you're gonna feel like you're already like going through a lot. So qof u baahan tahay kula hadlo, kula like saaxiib waxaas u baahan tahay. So they made a room for ilmaha where they can play games, watch movies, like popcorn waxaas ay cuni karaan. Marmar like the Vikings would come, or like marmar like other people would come and everything and like talk to the kids on the floor from there. And then the cancer floor was just one blocked off floor for all the cancer patients. So markii dambe I know ilmaha la hadlay and everything, like the other like people there, and I was telling them like, oh, ani waxaan qaba. They're like, oh, ana kana too. Like there was one person, oh, looked marka gashay and everything. There's another person battling brain cancer. There's a bunch of kids battling so many different cancers and stuff. So markii dambe ana kasoo wala hadlin and everything. Maxay dhahan waxaan weydiiyay, oh, afka aad ay xanuunaysa and everything. I was like, the daawada like it's really messing up my mouth. What should I do? So one of the kids wuxuu dhahay, oh, ani maxay caawis ice chips, like almost ice cream hadaa cuntid. Because cancer, no, the chemotherapy, it doesn't attack anything that's qabo. So had the ice cream waxa cuntada and everything, popsicles, afkaaga dhan ku xanuun doona the next day and stuff. It's some type of scientific thing, ma aqaani exactly. That's why cadaanka maxay xirtaan cold caps, so timahooda si kala baab like moving and everything. So it's like different things that you could do. So I started like the next time when I was getting my chemotherapy, dhakhtarada waxaan ku dhahay a cup of ice chips you can. She's like, oh, okay, we ku sheegan somehow the kids on the floor. I told you, So I was like, yeah. So I started eating the ice chips. Alhamdulillah, the next day I woke up and afka dhammayna xanuunayn. And I was like, okay, hey, that's one thing. And then there's another day, Islam massage imat and everything. She's like, yeah, I give all the kids massage and stuff like that with essential oils, and it just helps with the chemotherapy and the body aches. I was like, okay, hey. Before that, I used to hate massage. I didn't like people touching me. And then I was like, okay, hey. So she did it for me. And the next day I woke up and I didn't have like murqaha may xanuunayn, gacmaha lugaha may xanuunayn, and all of that, because I was still very sore from wrestling. So from there I just like kind of like learning stuff from the kids, but really again like how much like cancer was. I didn't know in depth like how like crazy cancer is and everything, So alhamdulillah, after my treatments oh you're spinally cancer free, like had that like you can go live your normal life, everything. Almost I wouldn't say like 3 months, like so December marka la gaare they declared me cancer free. So 2026 January marka la gaare dhakhtarka muxuu dhahay maxaa noo imaan doontaa every 6 months noo imaan doontaa until 3 years. After 3 years maxaa noo imaani every year noo imaan doontaa. So I said okay, hey. So every 6 months I just thought it was normal. Asaga ay ka unta jireen my scan ay ka qaadi jireen gacanta flambi waxay ku shubi jireen, and then there I would do my scan. They would say scan is clear, everything's good, guriga iska aad. Yeah, they said the scans everything was clear, so wax kasta guriga aadi kartaa, you could just live a normal life. 2018 ki I went in for my scan and everything, they said everything's good. 2019 ki 2019 in December I went in for my scan and they said, oh okay, everything is good, next year marka noo imaatid is going to be your last year because 21 I'm not going to start this summer. And I said, oh okay, hey, like Alina Health, so yeah, from now on like really markas many issues sheegin maxay dhahan markaad daawada not daawada marka scankaada aad samaysid for 2020 will transfer you to doctor, we're going to refer you to a different doctor, iyo like groupkaada everyone ku sii dirina ku diyaar and Alina Health. I said okay, hey. So pandemic March of 2020 I get married, and then so markas before that the first 3 months maxaa la sheegay oh jira socoto like nobody was taking COVID-19 serious, and then 2020 March 15 I got married, and then March 17 we got into lockdown. So like lockdown only 2 weeks, next thing you know it turned into like it's been year 1 year 2 Yeah, so it's just like it became like a whole thing. So March of 2020, I ended up getting birth control. I got the Nexplanon, and
waxaad qaadatay dawada kala korinta ilmaha
ha
irbada
ha yeah midda irbada gacanta, and they said that yeah, you should be good and everything, just like, you know, it's a normal birth control. Why? I said okay, hey, and mind you, this time maxaa ka soo wareegtay almost 4 years inta daawadeedii waxay ka sii wal dhamaatay and everything, like 5 years laga rabaa. And so
markii hore kansarku kugu dhacay ayaad 4 sano ka soo wareegtay
yeah, so markay first week kula dhacday 4 sano ka soo wareegtay, and then July na March I soo qaatay birth control, July na waan iska bixiyay, and then July markaan iska bixiyay, October I got pregnant with my son, and October, December I just had normal pregnancy, everything. I didn't have no complications, alhamdulillah, everything was great. Marka la gaaray my 8 months iyo 9 months markaa gaarina maxaa lagu dhahay xoogaa dhiig yaraan kula aragnaa and everything, something was going on. Intaan kula shubna waaye iron infusions. I was like okay, hey, I had weekly iron infusions on half almost like 3-4 weeks, and then after that maxay ugu dhaheen like, you know, iron kamaatan kula shubinay, what's going on, like dhiigaaga wax ma isbedelayso, kor ma aadayso hoos ma aadayso, dhiiga dhan kula shubin intay aadaysa and everything. So I was just very confused. I didn't, like, you know, xoogaa dizziness iyo waxaan isku arkay. And then alhamdulillah, July I gave birth to my son. ayakana waxba, like, you know, main isku fiirinin, like, you know, the cancer iyo dhiig la'aanta iyo waxaas dhan, like maskaxda ma ku jirto, because already intaasoo sana ka soo wareegtay and everything. Qofna markuu cancer daawi wax la siiyana oo 5 sano ay ka soo wareegto, asaga iyo qof weligood ku dhicin waa isku mid, like because jiradii jirkooda ka baxay, daawooyinkii jirkooda ka baxay, wax kasta jirkooda ka baxay, so like everything is like brand new and stuff. So adiga qof weligood ku dhicin isku mid baa tahdiin. And then from there I gave birth to my son. They said okay, kaca guriga aad. I went home. Week 1 went by, week 2, week 3, week 4 marka la gaaray, I started noticing I had like night sweats. I didn't want to do that. maanta dhan waxaan isku arkay madax xanuun, maanta dhan waan daalanahay, like I could sleep a full night sleep. My husband wuu soo jeedi jiray wiilka at night, and then wili maxaa arkaa on maalintii anoo daalan ba and everything. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so tired. And then deep sleep aan ku dhex jiraa most of the time. And then from there I also saw that qofa ay kusoo noqotay around like week 5, like I know afartanka almost aan gaal rabo, qofa ay waxay kusoo laabtay. So I went to the doctors. They said, oh, it's probably because COVID-19 I qabtay marka dhalisay. So COVID-19, there's something that's called long COVID, so that's probably like the symptoms that wili kula jiraan and everything. Just give it a couple more weeks, you should be good. I said okay, hey, so I went back home. A week later, like Anas Kashiki, I said, okay, all these symptoms that I'm feeling, all of the things that are happening, how are the same things, like muskahde ding 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 ding. Something happened in my hand where I was like, okay, this is reminding me from Makanyara and stuff, you know. And then qaf already marka wax soo mara already, like, you know, oganaya, like it's very fresh in their minds still. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, what is the chances of this coming back? Because for the whole year pandemic and everything, the year and a half, close to 2 years, ani masmamarin scan, Dr. Malakin, like, you know, I didn't do anything and stuff. And then I kept telling my husband, oh no, it's okay, it's been like almost 5-6 years, I don't need to doctor and everything, like, you know, I'm perfectly healthy. And then from there markaan dhakhtarka ku noqday haddana and everything, I said, you know, something's going on. Emergency-ga ku noqday, neefta ay ku dhigisay mar ana, like neefta ay ku dhigana hurdo ka soo kacay. So dhakhtarka ku noqday, and then they said, oh no, they did an EKG, they did an X-ray, they said nothing's going on. They did a blood panel, wax kasta, they said everything looks normal, kaca guriga aad. I said, okay, hi. And then I had a follow-up appointment coming up and everything with a lady on Willigay Arkin. Mind you, before I used to deal with, other than the OBGYN group that I was dealing with, before that, Mahalandil Jane did it, like Dr. Ilma and everything, in the pediatric cancer department stuff. So I don't know like how to contact Alina Health cancer department go. I don't know how to like contact any of these doctors. Referral, right? You know? And first, and then I like that kala directed. But the thing is that like emergency got I'm to go in all these places and nobody's listening to me. I'm like, oh my god, I need done like anxiety, like what's it called? I could and everything. So I felt like I was racing against the clock at the same time. Finally, I went to the lady and I told her, I started crying. I was like, hey, I feel like nobody's listening to me. I'm like, I have all these symptoms and stuff. They keep telling me about postpartum. Like, I think because this is your first child. Like, this is something that's normal. Everybody feels like this. But I'm like, you guys, I'm telling you guys, this is not postpartum. Like, this is something else. This is the cancer. So okay, you know, it's better to be safe than sorry, because you haven't had a scan for so long. We're going to tell Children's Hospital, scan yashad horosodir. Dr. Sahib Kena ku diraya oo Virginia Piper Cancer jooga. So I said okay hey I went got my scan done dhakhtarka soo wacay muxuu dhahay hey can you come to my office. I said okay dhakhtarka I'm taking stuff and muxuu dhahay okay you know scanka waxaan ku aragnaa but we can't be 100% sure. Like you know it could be anything noqon karta hadda cunuga dhasho too like you know it could just be anything like so we're not sure 100%. Muxuu dhahay I have to compare your old scans your scan kan we also have to do a biopsy. I said okay hey we scheduled the Messi like injury wala bixiye so injury kala soo barare in my throat. So I can show you the video later on as well. I recorded a video one time of me coughing and I was just like and that was the thing that guaranteed for me kansarka. Already anyone knew it before the doctor called me that the cancer came back. So I ended up took a video of me qafacayo maxarata on wax inta like boom so like wax kusun soo baxay maanta and everything and the only time I saw baxay maxay ka qafacay and everything you know. So I was just like okay you know that has to be the reason and stuff and everything and then my whole family leeyihiin garabkii may ku soo barata dana and I'm like no garabka may soo baran cuz qanjirkaas already waa la bixiyay waa qanjir kala hadda inta ay gashay. There's a lot of qanjira inta dhan like you know your armpits your neck you're everywhere. So then from there Dr. Kiwanu Mane we did the biopsy and then I told him I said I only have one thing on Kushega and stuff. I said that you have to call me right away and everything. I said as soon as you get results I said anxiety and qaba I said I'm sukri because already qaf soo marana hay so I already like I'm like you know so qaf brand new like hay kolo dhaqman and everything. I said I already know what to expect so just like rip the band-aid already you know. So he said okay hey asagana he was very touched by my story because muxuu dhahay already marka yarada so bad inta soo ka soo wareegtay muxuu dhahay like you know had you're brand new like you know you're a mom and stuff and everything. He said wiilkaaga is not even 2 months yet. So he was just like call me as soon as you I told him call me as soon as you get anything. He said okay hey so we went home we just continued normally. My husband was home from work and randomly one day I saw a baby haya I didn't know what was handaqaya the baby's bottles. I get my phone rings it says Align Health so I'm like okay Dr. Kiwai probably so I answered and everything. He's like hi this is Hodan. I'm like yeah this is me and then he's like oh hi Hodan how are you doing. I said I'm doing good how's baby. I was like baby's doing good. So he said I have good news and bad news. So he said the good news I said which one do you want to know first? Do you want to know the bad news first or the good news? I was like just tell me the bad news first and everything. He said the bad news the cancer did way so noqote. The good news it's the exact same cancer. If it was a different cancer it would have been a little bit more harder because they had stage 4 because jirkayga daawadii hore like ma aqaanta and everything so it would have been harder jirkayga aad u sii dil lahayd and stuff but I was like okay haye and then doctor wuxuu dhahay hadda maxaa waaye like you know it's 2021 like you know from 2015 kii markaad sameynaysa and then ila hadda like a lot of things has bedeleen daawooyinka has bedeleen our computers our scans iyo wax kasta our surgeries everything has bedeleen and stuff everything adduunka way isbedelaysa wax kasta way sii fiicnaanaysa you know. So wuxuu dhahay I'm very hopeful like you know I think waa ka badbaad kartaa like you know adi niyada iska dilin all these things so u hadlaya so like you know qof marka si this and everything I felt like wuxuu tu qaranaya so I was just like oh Dr. Ferguson I said what is it maxaa qaranaysa I said just go ahead tell me what it is and then I was like can you tell me what stage why and everything. So asaga marka dan maanta dan he kept usmniyada maanta isi decide and stuff and so I was like Dr. Ferguson how stage ku yahay yeah we come medicine maanta dan so then finally maxaa ku Dr. Ferguson what stage is it muxuu dhahay inta niyada ka dila mariyo dhahay and stuff but muxuu dhahay waa late stage 4Y and everything like stage so then I was just like oh my god I was like oh my god that's so crazy and then even though stage 4Y he's like because you're like you know you're Muslim and diintaada like you know you're like dabeecadaada even qolkayga maalintiisa soo galisa office-ka he's like adidan you seem very hopeful qof oo like you know life ku jira and everything and stuff so he's like I don't think that ku dhiman doonto I think that intaad like you know ka badbaad doonto like adiga intaad niyada isku dhishid waa and stuff so I was like okay haye and then from there we had to go ahead and put the port in which is bahashadi like you know daawada wax kas la kaasinayo so qalitaanka la ahead and then inta dhuuxayga la baaray ahead because maxay dhahan laf dhabarkii meel kasan ku aragnaa and then on the side note like if you go back to my scans from 2016 2017 2018 2019 marka children's hospital ay soo direen isku fiirinayeen muxuu dhahay like right in between laf dhabarkaada one of the places ay ku soo barata hadda like in scanyaasha it was less than 1 centimeter so markay daawadeedii wax kas ay siin jiray markaan yaraa wax 1 centimeter ka yar bay igu reebeen so maxay dhahan oh waan fiirinaa haday weynaato dan daawo kala daqaatid waa hadayna weynaanina waa stable that means like daawo ma baahnid like waan fiirinaa we're going to keep a close eye on it and stuff so muxuu dhahay sometime between January of 2020, like December 19 was to December 2019 was the last time I had a scan. So I'm sometime between January of 2020 illa hadda a scan ka kala qaadate, so a year and a half. Cancer like gudahaas ay kusoo noqotay and everything and stuff. So it could have been birth control key, could have started it. It could have been the pregnancy. It could have been COVID-19 and everything. Immune system kaada probably like waxa like inta siyar that 1 centimeter yara oo kansarka kullu xirtay like waxa soo kiciyo or something. I don't know how to say in Somali. Somali they say something like waxa like stable ahead and all of a sudden way soo kacday like something waxa like what's it called taabta kansarka adana ay ku sii faafta meel kasta and everything
waxa soo toosiyay
waxa soo toosiyay and then it started spreading from there, and because I didn't get a scan for so long, that's what happened. And then markay maxay dhahan all of the iron ee lagu shubay back in month of May or June, it wasn't working because the cancer was ayaka daawi waxay ku siinayaan like in cancerka ay ku sii daliso and everything. They said pretty much the only thing I usi jirnin waxa waay your son urkiisa ku caawinay and everything and stuff. The urka could give like was giving you strength and like nutrients and stuff and everything. So I was like the placenta was giving me nutrients as well and stuff. So maxay dhahan like you know urka like it helped you in somewhat and everything, but if they had found out had they heli lahaayeen markaan urka lahaa, they automatically would have terminated the pregnancy. They said that because they said that you have to start chemotherapy right away and stuff and everything. So I said okay, because they said stage 4 usually like they don't try to keep like the baby and everything and stuff because it was growing everywhere. Alosheda, wanaha, my lungs, my neck, left dabarka, and then so I had to do a lot of biopsies, bone marrow biopsies. So left what's called my hip left and everything. So from that markaas waxaan ku dhahay okay I want to start treatment right away. Alhamdulillah hooyaday ka imaatay before that حتى maxay ku dhahan markaan imtixaamaan waxaan dhan wala maray. Alhamdulillah my mother-in-law and my in-laws and everything and my cousins and everybody was just helping out and everything. My husband had to get off work wax kasta because it was just maalin kasta all of a sudden waxaan noqonaba every day dhakhtar jira, every day baaritaan ama qalitaan ama waxa jiro. Alhamdulillah my mama came out to Africa. She moved to Nairobi in 2018. So she came back and she was like what's it called doctorka muxuu dhahay like you know gabadhan daawi wax ma bilaaban karno until like wiilkeedu uu haysto like secure like qof like
guard ilaalinaya ilmaha yar si hadda u dhimatid loo ilaaliyo
because he said that like you know he said that her husband's young as well, like musku hayn karo, her husband's gonna be too much for him, musku hayn karo ayadoo jirin, and then also baby as well musku hayn karo and everything. So muxuu dhahay qof kale u baahan and everything because right now labadooda ay ka isku baahan and everything, like she needs her husband as the baby and qof kale like 24 hours his little baby way u dhahay. So muxuu dhahay he told my husband like hey if I were you I would start looking for like arrangements for your son and everything because your wife can't take care of the baby. So then he said okay Alhamdulillah my like in-laws and my aunts and everybody, my grandma, everybody was like anaka hayn karno, anaka samayn karno, we could do this. Alhamdulillah my mom came back from Nairobi and she was like ana hayna and everything and stuff. I said okay so she ended up taking my son and I was like alhamdulillah at least like you know my mama haysa and everything. And ayadana mashallah she put cameras all over the house maantadan sa dawa and everything, so I don't have that intaas oo maantadan so camerada wiilkay ka daawan
chief hospitalka
even my doctors, my nurses, everything maxay jiran wiilkaaga mar karna, and then camerada waka asagoo dheelaayo asagoo like gidinaayo everything arkine. So they were just like illa hada way xasuustaan too, and they're like oh my god how's your son? They met him in 2022 and they said that we used to watch you on the camera and everything, like you know camerada ka daawan jirnay. And then from there before markay hooyo qaateen and everything and stuff maxay ku dhahan okay one more thing sii harte inta daawada la bilaawin maxaa waaye inta dhakhtarka the fertility doctors in Minneapolis South Texas waaye siday akumahaada wax kasta finjeerum sameel ku galiyaan so you're able to have babies in the future. I said okay because they said that the stem cell transplant and the chemotherapy wax kasta way ka dili doonaan and everything, they're going to put you in early menopause so waxay kula sameyn doonaan
waxay dhalmaday ka joojin doonaan dawooyinka ay kugu dhahan
so I was like okay so kuya and everything imtixaan dhiiga iyo waxay ka qaadeen and stuff, and then the people that were there were like all like older women and everything, adan people, all of that. So then I went there, I spoke to the doctor, he said okay waan sameyn karnaa but we have 2 months aan u baahanahay san cadad iyo irbadaha iyo wax kasta iskoola like isku aadinaysa
marka waxay doonayaan kuma ka qaadaan sad mustaqbalka ilmo u dhashid deris lagu sameeyo
so maxay dhahan 2 bilood aan u baahanahay and everything. So doctorka ka xasweydida like you know 2 bilood aan daawada sii karno so doctorkayga I told him what the plan was muxuu dhahay Hodan I'm very sorry laakiin ma haysatid 2 bilood he's like if you're lucky maxaa haysataa like 6 to 8 weeks haysataa and everything hadii kale like you're gonna end up dying like he said daawada hadda ka gaarna waa and everything muxuu dhahay I'm very sorry like aadan kala ximaad that you have to go through this and stuff but muxuu dhahay if 2 months a day tahdo like sheekadan ku jirto so doctoriyaan ku noqday and everything kuwi dhalmada and stuff maxaan ku dhahay hey you guys hal bil ma ku sameyn karnaa they said hal bil ma ku sameyn karno because waa inta hormonkaada iyo wax kasta aan la fiirin and stuff and everything sometimes na hal bil xataa ma ku soo qaadi karno like hal iyo labo like kon bas heli karnaa and everything and kana maxaa u baahanaa at least 20 or 25 waxa u baahanaa qaala si dilmado qaarna ma sii weynaadaan all of that you know there's a whole science behind it so then I was like oh my god I like how qaar maxay leeyihiin dhaqtara oo labo bilood u baahanaa the other side maxay leeyihiin labo bilood ma haysatid like you know so I'm in this area where I'm like oh saan ma sameeyaa it's like
50-50 dooranaysa marka inaad ukumihii dhigtido 2 bilood sugtay saad hadhow ilmo u dhashid iyo inaad dawadaadii bilaabatid maadaama kugu wuri wax 2 bilood ka yar baad haysataa noolaan kartaa hadda dawada qaadan weydo
so it's like I need and I'm like oh my god so maxaan wacay Dr. Farhiya Abdullah who is my OBGYN and mashallah she's literally one of the best doctors ever and ayadana the whole pregnancy la socotay she knew my cancer journey everything waan u sheegay when I was first pregnant and so wax kasta like she was keeping a close eye on me but markan wiilkayga aan dhalay ayada like you know she was my OBGYN and she said that Hodan like you know had the wheel or love bilood hatta jirin I was like he's not even 2 months idahde wiilkaada like you know billy baru jira and stuff like you know ilahi like alhamdulillah wuu ku sii wiilkan and everything you know I would say daawada iska qaadan and stuff because maxay dad jiro oo like you know caafimaadka wiligood jirinin wiligood soo tagin oo ilmo dhali karin and everything and there's dad oo wiligood jirnaa wax kasta and ilahi 15 ciyaal uu sii so she said that at the end of the day hadda dhahdo waan sugaya and stuff wiilkaada yar ka dhimited like you know it's all up to you wiilkaaga liiraan ka dhimto
marka waxay sugan kunta dawada qaado
maxay dhahdo wiilkaada liiraan ka dhimanaysid so I said okay hey and then from there I was like okay hey you know I'm going to just do that and everything ilahi tala saaro she said at the end of the day ilahi wax kasta ku siiyo ilahi wax kasta ka qaadi karo and everything you know daawadan like you know jiradan ilahi ka was called kulurida ilahi na ka qaadi karo and stuff so she was like you know gabar mashallah tahda and everything she's like you're very young she's saying first boqolkiiba I believe in you're going to survive but maxay dhahday like ilahi tala saaro and everything just leave everything up to ilahi so I said okay hey so I called my doctor and you know what let's start chemotherapy next week weekend again like you know anytime timas so I wanted to get my house ready like pack my hospital bags wax kasta kada chemotherapy wax qaadanaysa it's like a whole list of things inta la sameeyo and everything waanta like you know you have to disinfect everywhere in the house in case marka soo soo baxdid inta adi mentally isku diyaarisid wax kasta and everything you know so that weekend my husband and I went out to dinner wax kasta and then the following week I went into the doctor Monday and everything daawadi wixii li bilaawe I met really nice nurses and Dr. Kega was obviously Dr. Torgerson and daawadi wax kasta ay bilaaween alhamdulillah but then this time markan yara like of course one xasuusada xanuunkii wixii and everything but this time around was a little bit more like oh like it feels weird had that I'm older and then daawada ay ku socotay and stuff and then from there marka daawadi wixii bilaaween and everything I was like okay hey this is pretty easy it's pretty good like close to October November marka la gaaray December maxay ku dhaheen you know alhamdulillah you're cancer free cancerki wixii dhan waa wala baabi'ina intaan like intayna soo noqon and everything intaan chemotherapy like so the chemotherapy ACN Hawaii the ice regimen which is like some of like some bad cancers why like some bad chemotherapies why like in like add musiham and everything like it's the next level why from kuyara aan qaadan jiray maxay dhaheen maqa kuwaas ma ku siin karnaa ilmo kuwaas wax ma ka tirayaan hadda stage 4 why so ay ku xoog badan ku siina why I said okay hay so markay ACN maxay dhaheen hadda waan baabi'in and everything laakiin durbay soo noqon doontaa wili dhiigaadi waxa ay ku jirtaa like within like hadan chemo ga hada ka dayna 1 week or 2 weeks cancerka durbay soo noqon hadana and stuff so maxay dhaheen waa intaan adiga dhan difaacaada iyo dhuuxaada dhan aan dilnaa markaan dilnaa ka bacdi dhuux cusub aan kula shubinaa and then wiliga cancer kula soo noqon doonta and everything maxay dhaheen the success stories is not as high as the bad like the stories and everything maxay dhaheen so the success is very low but maxaa waaye at least something to try because maxay dhaheen already laba jeer kula soo noqotay marka DNA daada iyo afirno your genealogy na wax jirkaada ku jirto waa and everything wax dhiigaada ku jiro so
waxa ka raacay
so maxay dhaheen hadda daan ka dayno aan dhahno oh hadda your cancer free ka iska bax who knows like سنة بعد لو سنة بعد 6 سنة كمان واحد ولي قاعد كل سنة نقني سوايا because أديك دي قاعدة إيه محن كجرتها like your genealogy كجرتها and everything something دينا كل جرتها so no matter what we سنة نقدم تا أديك دو حد إن dilna iyo aan bedelna waay so I said okay hey wiligood ma la maqlin I've never seen any other Somali person saas ku dhacay when I went on YouTube maxaa arkay only adaan like Islam adaan and everything ku dhaceen and stuff so it was just like you know very I didn't have qof or like either my skin color aha or qof Somali aan weydiiyo so you know ilaahay inta tala saartay I was like okay inshallah I'm just going to go ahead and do it University of Minnesota dhakhtarka kala Ali did and everything his name was Dr. Jacket and mashallah he was literally another great doctor alhamdulillah ilaahay like doctor fiican ku sahay alhamdulillah and then so Dr. Kansarka and everything he said you know I think you could do this and stuff he said it's very hard why would the hand everything like he Dr. Torgerson already we shake like Hodan if there was anybody or سمين كرو like Hodan not سمين كرت and stuff so مركز stem cell transplant so واحد سمينايو like of that extent anybody مسمين كرو وأنت ونا هذا الفيريا وأنت حامض ونا هذا القاعدة your lungs أنت الفيريا هذا like you know نفسين كرت and everything لغة هذا قعمة هذا مسكح هذا like a lot of different departments على أركيس and everything أو أنت كنت تجابين أنا كنت تحامض بدن كقاعدان إيه دهان دكتور كنود دران ها أوكي أنا كمان باسينه أنا كمان باسينه أنا كمان باسينه مركب when you get approved from all your doctors ميل كسته مركز كبعدي أنت حمد إنك approve or like okay لو دهان everything looks good كبعدي على سمين كسته the stem cell transplant so محوده like yeah you know your doctors محليين أديك like you know تبعد هذا the way you're very determined the way محلها oh ده وده محمد أهان everything مركان يعني هذا نسميه هذا نواسمين كران stuff he said that like تتقف like مسكح راسه كله هايستو بكنسر كبد بعد كرو and everything هذا ده اللي هاد like oh إلهي محمد خني كله ذي يو oh my god like my life is over مس depression and those called سكسيرة اللي هاد مس أديك دن هذا like you know قف like قف or like life code لماذا كله هذا سياحان لهاد like you know دعوة department نكون شغالين لهاد and everything and that's important so that إلهي تلا سعرته and stuff anything else من كرته like at the end of the day إلهي أكسيه إلهي أقعد كره and stuff so the stem cell transplant أبلاوه and then the stem cell transplant محاوية all of the chemotherapy actually wow like almost like more this I think more than 50 chemotherapies in the world so chemotherapy like add for بدن واي so أنا كويسين محدها إنه super chemos واي and everything so chemo ياشا add like أدوم كل حماين واي and everything so it was like the worst of the worst chemos and so the first day that I had it I was like okay you know what this is it's very painful like it's not too painful عندي كريك جورجيا and then the second day محيسي and another one where it was so painful محدهن this one is alcohol كلاواية محي vein كي like مثلا you know حد كي كل شويين ما كي كل شويين إن هذا يقول لي like عم هذا وحكسته and this chemotherapy particularly محدهن ما جوجين كرنو they said that like because usually we can't جوجين كران break سينايان and then we متكله it's not محده مايا صدنا دقيقة جوديه أنت كل ما يسدوا بعد and everything or داودن so قال كنرس كإيسو كشين everything nurse كم حدا يسأل okay ما شوينا 10 minutes يسعني and then لو دقيقة كسينا break 10 minutes يسعني لو دقيقة was called break كسينا I said okay حياة so we متى سعت then I'm like oh my god I can't breathe like the pain was so bad and then مرة and this is why they said مسكحة حتى أنت الفيري why because أنا message جوجو داود يسعت and everything عادي قف كرسي فريق كله like so أنا أدي سكوا هاللي نكره I was talking to my grandpa oh الله نحرسته he ended up passing away a couple years before but my grandpa لها لا and everything and stuff عادي أنا was like so أنا أدخل like وهاللي نكلام لحلايا and then like the nurse she ends up saying oh يا لها اللي I'm like oh my grandpa ما قالت me and سلانت محل هذا
ما نشوفه ماشي grandpa
ها ما قفنا قوة only the people are in the room
ها استوصينه أو بتشوفه
yeah so another person had that as well recently had the stem cell transplant مرة as well الله اللي محيدهن دكتورك محيدهن oh what to expect is that like what's it called the brink of death كوجيننا مركز كسر علنا and everything like what's it called لمش أكتر كوجيننا مركز كسر علنا basically كده هنا stuff أنا يسوي عادي هذا oh like واحد رمي يعني مش أكتر أنت لا عادي تنو صنعنا حتى ها pretty much like the super chemos واحد زي كوسين دونان like محات عادي then like you're in between life and death basically and stuff you know because the chemo قصي وحوق بدنته عادي إن الدفاع هذا واحد كسر
مرة قارب بمير بيلسا
ها so I told her yeah that's how it is and everything and I told her like ها remember story كان كل شيء جاي like كده هاي أوجن لها لا يشترها I said ها that's the same thing why and everything I said مركز داود سيسعت and everything and she was like, oh my god, like I can't believe that. I said yeah. So markay daawooyinka wiigaas ii dhamaadeen wiigay bare ahayd ay ii dhamaadeen maxay sameeyeen duuxi cusub ee iku shubeen everything a month prior bay iku soo shubeen hadana alhamdulillah. They said your new birthday was December 27 ay dhaheen because markay duuxi cusub kula shubaan like it's like jirkaada hore wax ka santay dileen oo hadana December 27 markay dhiiga cusub iku shubaan maxaa waay adii cunug hadda dhasho ha yeah because adii uskar cunug hadda dhasho kale isku mid ah tahdin difaac ma qabtiin dhiigina waa brand new infection waa inta iska ilaalisiin waxaas dhan everything is the same so markii dambe istabaal hadana maxaa ku jira for a couple more weeks aan ku jira and then after that maxay dhaheen ha everything is looking good guriga hadda aadi kartaa and then sorry okay guriga hadda aadi kartaa ay dhaheen so guriga aan imaade before I came to the house my husband had people come to the house. They had to disinfect the whole house. Waa darka dhan inta la dhaqay because I can't have dust agteeda ma iman karto. Anything like waalasheeda everything has to be gooni. Everything had to be like just perfect for me and everything. Daawooyin waxa guriga ligeeya they had to teach my husband as well so like administer daawooyin and everything so the guriga igu siiya so I don't have to come into the hospital. waxaas dhan and then alhamdulillah March aan ku noqday hadana dhakhtarkay ku jaamacada maxay dhaheen okay how do you feel and everything hadda boqol ma laga soo wareegtay since your transplant since day one what's it called how do you feel and everything right now. I said alhamdulillah I feel good all of these things that they said okay hey hadda like slowly aan ku siin doona all of your talaalahaada hore because hadda talaalo madam jirkaaga ma qabo wax kasta like inta everything iska ilaalisad waaye. So alhamdulillah I was able to be at home and be isolated and wax kasta and then towards the like every 3 months on Tagaye and then I went back in July and then I went back after that and they kept saying everything looks good but around the same time March of 2022 Markan Dr. Kuda Utaga and he said everything looks good and stuff. I was like oh we need dig muku so noqanin what should I do and everything and stuff. He said oh yeah that's normal why like don't expect digagan to so noqda. I said okay hey so then marka la gaaray May I had an appointment with my dhakhtarahayga kuwa OB/GYN-kaya maxay dhaheen oh yeah we need to start checking your hormone count and stuff because we want you to start taking classes or maswax or qof into nurse ay ku barto either through Zoom or something about menopause or like after chemotherapy dadku waxay ku sameeyso and all of that stuff and everything. I said okay hey
marka waxay ku diyaarinayeen inaad dalmadii ka gurtay
ha
and like classadaas qaado
ha like yeah what life is going to be like diglaan and everything and stuff so then I didn't know there's like a whole world of thing of Islamaha like and everything what happens to them and stuff like that. So from there I was like okay hey so June like right around my birthday Islanta always so I'm headed hey I'm going to call you this next week or everything for the Zoom. She said you don't have to come into the office it's going to be through Zoom. I said okay hey so they scheduled me for the dhakhtarka and everything and it just happened to be the same dhakhtar uu dhahay jiray oo laba bilood aan u baahanahay intaan ukumahaadi wax ka soo aruurin
waa dhakhtarkii markii hore waxamaha doonayay inuu diyaariyo
yeah so I said he was available so he was the one who did the Zoom meeting and then alhamdulillah shukru I don't know for what reason but the same morning the Zoom meeting waxaan lahaa like it was like my birthday was also close as well. I think it would be past my birthday. I ended up getting my period that week out of nowhere. ay dadka dhan dhihi jireen dhiigaada maxay showing that dhiigaaga intuu soo noqon doonin mar dambe markaan imtixaamay wax ka qaadno like you're complete menopause ku jirtaa there's no way like iska loob life kaas dhan and everything
so mar dambe inaad qaadid iska
and then intay caadadii warka wax inta ku soo noqotay iska and everything ma soo noqon doonto. So I know must have called my birthday week but like I ended up getting my period so I was like oh okay this is very weird. Ninki dhakhtarka dhahay okay yeah well saanta sameysad waay waxaas muxuu dhahay oh do you have anything to say. I said yeah I said like randomly my period came back and stuff and he said oh it did okay that's a weird coincidence and everything muxuu dhahay like don't expect intay soo noqoto hadana because it's not something normal. So I went back to my Alina Health gynecologist. I didn't like the way Sulu had lay. So I went back to my doctors and everything. Oh, my period came back. What's going on? And they were like, oh, okay, like we can do blood tests to check your hormones. It's not gonna come back or anything, or it's probably like a fluke or something. Why, whatever. Like jirka probably like Dawoodi bixiya kasi bixiya. So something's going on and everything to kickstart it. So I was like, okay, hey. And then 28 days later in July, I ended up getting my period again. I had the Flow app, and then so it's exactly 28 days later. It said you're supposed to get your period in 1 day. boom, my period comes again 28 days later. And then I went back to the doctors again. They said, okay, yeah, it's just a fluke. Like, that's not until I and stuff. I'm like, okay, hey, fine. And then August, same thing again. My period came. And then the thing is that had they saw like when July had they saw 32 days or 35 days or 36 days like in exactly 28 days later I saw again exactly 28 days later, and that's usually like the normal range for periods and stuff like that. So then from there I kept getting my period and everything. Oh, and everything, like her and everything. Yeah, don't make yourself happy, like it's gonna end up stopping. I said, okay, I went to Africa in January. I went to go visit my mommy. Finally, doctor came حدهن وبحكي كرتان everything Africa, but only محن كو أقلنا 6 بلاد. And then كبعد أنت سنة قلت دوايك سكان أو بحنت هاي ديجا أنت برنا دفعنا ملهدت so ملها وبحني دهن. I said okay حياة. So Nairobi أده and mashallah, like Nairobi is a whole vibe. It's my favorite city ever. So Nairobi, and my mom, she was giving me like fresh fruits. Like she kept giving me like smoothies and like qara like all the things she was pampering me, giving me nutrients and then from there I know weight is and then also what's it called, and everything. My hemoglobin was amazing, my blood, like everything was like looking great. So doctor oh wow, like you know, you being in Nairobi really helped you because pound like Nairobi like almost 10 pound and everything. Is showing that you're great, and he said your skin, everything looks like and stuff and everything. And I was like, yeah, you know, Nairobi was a vibe. And then he was like, okay, hey, he said, you're still getting your periods? I said, yeah, I'm still getting the periods. He said, okay, hey. And then March, towards the end of March, Ramadan, April was Ramadan. May, I started feeling sick again. Like like labo, all these things. And then doctor can't get, so they said, oh, we need to do a pregnancy test just in case. So they did a pregnancy test and they said, oh, okay, we need to do an ultrasound as well. Ultrasound is mean. They said that the pregnancy test is positive and the ultrasound is showing that you're around like 4 weeks pregnant, 5 weeks to sigalurta. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm pregnant. They're like, yeah, you're pregnant. Like in hasku, like, you know, don't get happy again and everything because the chemotherapy problem your body naturally so naturally. So I said, okay, Hayat. So then I kept waiting every week. I was like, okay, you know, when is this miscarriage gonna happen and stuff? And then all the way to 13 weeks I got it. And then 13 weeks got him, okay, again, we're gonna do a blood test or an arkidono do any type of germs and everything. Yeah, alhamdulillah, we waited 2 weeks and they said that I think it was like it was early in the morning. My husband and I were awake and then my phone thing and message so that and everything. One of my cousins I want to be the one that opened it up and everything because also the gender of the baby as well. But you know, I have anxiety and it's early in the morning. So what I did was that I just opened it and then I started screaming. I was like, oh my God, it's a girl. My husband was like, what? Oh my God. And I was like, yeah. And so everything's negative and then and I was just like, yeah. So I was just like, oh my God. And we were so excited. Everybody was so excited that day and everything, all the shaking and stuff. The anatomy test at 20 weeks. Then if anything, if she has any physical stuff. They said which includes like her spinal cords and everything. Like like her facial stuff and everything, if she has anything physical. So I said, okay, hey, don't get too happy. Don't get too happy. So then finally we got to 20 weeks. Alhamdulillah, she was a very healthy baby. She's growing perfectly fine. She's growing like older than her gestational age, and everything. Baby like, you know, everything looks good. She looks like she's happy, like, you know, everything and to send everything, like she was perfectly fine. So I was like, alhamdulillah. And then third trimester oh, into dawa soqat and everything, and the super chemos, they said xanuunka like fall like marka ha so maxay dhahan we want to schedule you for a C-section most likely ha so ayaka they predicted intaan sabaq soo gali doonaan January 17 so marka loo sii dhawaado my mom waxay dhihi jirtay oo like markas like duco akhriso and everything like ilaahay soo xasuuso ilaahay like alhamdulillah and everything ilaahay nimcadii wax ka sugsiya already and stuff so I was just like alhamdulillah and then markan oo sii dhawaane January already dhakhtarihii kale soo wacay dhahayan hey markaas soo dhashid we want you to inta soo gasho scan inta qaadatid intaan taasi wax sameeyay all these things so I said okay haye because I don't really yabihin the fact that I'm pregnant it's a healthy pregnancy waxaas and then maxay dhahan probably urka your hormones kore u kaceen and everything so probably wax kala soo bixi kara and everything so they were trying to keep an eye on that and then January 10th, the day before that actually, January 9th, I went in for a scan and everything and then Dr. Hindu maybe the like add a host of jokes and everything so like it could be any time like the next couple of days and everything like maybe the DRY and stuff and then it also looks like no that's got I said okay that morning like nobody waxaan arkaya and then Islanto I saw wacda from the mother baby center maxay hey are you able to no so gashid we want to do another scan I said it's already shalay on scan what maxay hadana no so gal maxay the baby looks like the placenta and nutrition fat and seen and everything baby that looks like gaja probably heist or something like they saas ku sii socota it's really bad why and everything so maxay they were probably going to have to do early birth of Musintan and everything before your due date and everything which January 17 and I was just like okay hey I was very nervous and stuff mesa doctor kan tagna and everything markay fiiriyeen and everything maxay dhahan doctoratu maxay dhahay okay yeah like doctorahan they get scared and everything when just in case intay wax isku diyaariyaan stuff but maxay dhahay it looks like baby girls okay everything looks good maxay dhahay like what I would say is that when do you predict inta dhali doonto that kind of stuff and doctoratan she's a really great doctor her name is Dr. Buzali's and she's from Seattle I believe and I was one of her first patients as well and stuff that's why I always say alhamdulillah like Ilahi always gives me best doctors when do you want to give birth and stuff I said oh I want to give birth like this weekend or like next week or stuff I still have some things to do and everything baby inta wax soo diyaariyo aniga intaan diyaariyo so like from the way baby that the way your cervix everything is it looks like baby that by your lucky Friday that gaartid and everything like sooner dhali doonta diyaarad jirkaada everything's showing that you're ready for your body's ready for birth and everything so I was just like okay hey I kind of got scared and then I kept having nabro like mountain I was having really bad like nabra qabanay and everything so I was just like she said that you already front and stuff and everything so she said that you should be good for the next couple of days and everything but in case they nabra kasifan ku qabato for a long time that dhaqso gashid way she said hana soo wicin right away so gal and everything qolan ku siinana I said okay hey and then like my parents were talking to me and stuff mom maxay ka cabsoonaysa like qalitaanka iyo waxaas sheegayeen iyo wanaha and everything but my dad was like ilaahay talo saaro kacska gal and everything he said haba sii sugan haday dhahen baby the placenta ay umlayaan intay it's called nutrition wax siinaynin they said just go right in hadda iska soo fool and everything hadda baby iska dal and everything baby the early maxay dhahen wayba she's full gestational I dhahen and everything she looks like she's ready intay soo baxdo so I was like okay haye waan ka fikirin and everything and then my husband and I decided okay you know what aska galno my husband was like you don't want complications later on hadda maanta aska galno maanta diyaar banahnay I said okay haye so we went to Carmel we went to grab some food and everything and then we grabbed my son's stuff we took him to my mom and then we went to the hospital and they said yeah okay the nurse that was still in the office was the same nurse this morning checking to go to my set she's like because the way contractions she said the mothers know like she said qof kale dhalana uu garan doona like oh yeah gawaran dhalitaan like we know that and everything and stuff so she's like yeah I was expecting your call she said come in today and everything 7:30 no like I said okay hey we went to the hospital around 7:45 most of the waiting room عبار فلين and everything قالي وحنا ديارناين وراقدي وحنا صحيحنا and then we went into the room at like 8:30 ملهاس and then from 8:30 to like 9:30 أنا like baby ده وحلو كحراي على وشي ده وحلو كحراي أنا لي ديارناين فلين بدي وحلو قلنا and everything really دكتور ده منو إيمانن لكن حنون كي حاجة like we from this morning it's a little bit more but it's not too much where أنقلنا or something and then from there dhaqtarada waxay leeyihiin okay yeah you know most likely C-section waa and everything kuwi like qalitaanka yaa la sii diyaarinaya like just in case they wax dhacdo everything waa like the backup plans already wala diyaarin everything so dhaqtarada ay soo gashay stuff maxay dhahdee you know what do you want to do she said C-section straight ahead ma sameena or do you want to just at least try to risk it that should like caadi ahaan and everything I said you know obviously ma rabin intaan into anything but in hadday wax dhacdo like straight away qalitaan ay geeyaan and everything and stuff so she said okay haye ayadana she kept predicting that oh like maxaa dhali doontaa around 2 a.m. 3 a.m. meelahaas dhali doontaa and stuff from the way your cervix is wax kasta so I said okay haye maxay dhahdee wax yar kuleelasaan ku siinaa and everything so wax weyn marinta ku siiyo say wanahaada ay u qaraacin like more and everything so she said that I'm just give you level 2 bisan ku siinaa she's like wax yar she shouldn't feel too much pain I said okay haye so level 2 and everything it just felt like you know dhabarka intay xanuunaysa and everything just lugaha and stuff caadi ahaan like caadi ahaan telefoonka ku hadlay waan isku socday I didn't have epidural or anything and then maxay imaatay around like 9:50 9:45 9:50 imaatay and stuff maxay dhahdee hey I'm about to go into my break soon ay dhahdee because there was also shift change soo socota so the nurses the day way baxayaan kuwa habeenka soo galaya
tobanka habeenimo iskala bedelaan
ha so she was like oh my break and aadi raba but maxay dhahdee ma rabtaa intaan biyaha ka dilaaciyo so biyaha dan ka dilaaciyo it's going to be faster kuleelasada koronta u sii qaadna ma aha everything probably like you know dirbe baby imaan doonta like around 2 a.m. 3 a.m. laakiin haddaan sii sugno intay ayada biyaha dilaaciso ilaa like subaxina ugu qaadan kartaa stuff abaar in qof kale dhakhtar kale ka fulin doono so I was like okay hey no I was like you know biyahan dilaacina hooyan waxay maxay dhayn alla may biyaha dilaaci complication kala dhacdan and everything later on dhaxan like oh my wanaheeda wax kale sii noqdo xanuun kale aad isku keentid so I was just like you know what it's okay but my husband and I were like you know what let's just biyahan dilaacin and everything I went on TikTok I saw bash biyaha and everything I said how do you like you know so I was so scared and then she was like saying like don't be scared and everything my nurse like I slahis and stuff and then like you know my husband was holding my hand so she said that it's going to be really easy she's like I ma ku dhihi lahayn samee if it was going to be painful so I said okay hey so I had to go away samayse and then ayadoo darkeeda waxay iska bixinayso so this maxay gaartay probably like 9:55 almost close to 10 o'clock ay gaartay and everything intaan hooyay everybody la hadlay stuff and then qolkay ka baxday albaabkay weli taagantaa like qolkayga way xirantahay albaabkay taagantaa darkii wixii iska bixinaysa and everything ayadoo iska bixinayso the nurse na musqushay alaaba sarab iyo waxay sameynaysaa qolkay diyaarinaysaa and everything anina xanuunka duuga ay qabtay oh my goodness before maxaan dhahay yeah this is easy like this fall day tahada waxaan waan sameyn karaa markasta nabarka adduunka markay qabato aniga sariirtan ku rafanaya I'm going left and right it's so painful my husband wuxuu leeyahay like oh are you okay like it's just like this is probably like you know nabarka like you're having a contraction or something I'm like no Khalid this is more than a contraction I don't know what's going on and then from there the nurse u yeere and the nurse musqusha ka soo baxday and then him and the nurse are standing at the bed maxay dhahan hadaqaqid stop moving anigana like qof xanuun hayo rafanayo ma dhihi kartid stop moving you know so I'm like oh my god I'm in so much pain alhamdulillah my daughter already like digahi iyo madaxi iyo luqunti dhan way soo bix ayada soo bixisaba so like within 10:15 ay caadi banaanka soo la baxday so but within 10 o'clock to 10:13 and everything ayada soo riixisay and stuff so waxay like xanuunkii waxaan u dareemay way soo riixisay so neefta ay ku dhigisay and everything so anina ma rafanay so dhakhtaradii nurse-kii way baxday dhakhtaradii xataa down the hall gaarinba maxay dhahdee oh my god we're having an emergency birth so next thing you know qolkii dhan nalaha dhan la wada daaray all the nurses are in there like the shift change kuwii maalintii kuwii habeenkii waa la kala ordaya kuwa beebiyaasha imaadeen oo saka kuwii like you know beebiyaasha dhaqaneen ha and then ayadana like what's it called wala xiraya so anina maxaan leeyahay ma ogi qofna ma ii sheegaya the baby already way soo baxday and like she's already outside basically like garbaha bisa dhiman and everything anina maxaan u maleynayaa that se ku qalin lahayna soo galeen so I'm like xanuunka and everything maskaxda ku sii daaway wax ma xanuun baabina ma haysti so I'm just like oh my god I'm freaking out so then qaalna like the nurse ku dhahday gacmaheeda qabo cuz maanta dhan like siritan qabanaya ay ka hoos ii soo riixayaan ana koras ku soo riixaya nobody's telling me baby da madaxeeda like you know yeah because I don't think they rabin to ishegan because I would have panicked even more and everything that would have been even more of a panic and then the nurse like the nurse was like okay you know put your legs up we're breaking the bed and then dhakhtaradi ay maat and everything and then she's like Hodan you're doing such a good job I'm so proud of you blah, blah, blah. She's like the baby's out right now and then they said just only one push because maxirawan garbihi unu intay soo baxday and everything you know baby-dana waxay adin xanuun dareemaya ayada soo riixiso laakiin garbihiga like masakod garbaha ma soo bixi karaan like it's just too tight and everything so then finally I was like, okay, hey, 1, 2, 3, all the hair. Boom, baby, they so bad. So I'm like, oh my god, my son, or like 45 minutes plus and falling and mother push stop Samina. Hadana mashallah, this little girl or how push and everything and stuff, you know. So then my husband, he called like Hodan and everything. They were like, oh yeah, Elma so dona and everything and stuff. Like 2 a.m. hadala time okay, hey, Hoga and Hasqabana and everything. Kabadi Hoya hay so I said, okay, hey, my was called mother-in-law, everybody playing, okay, 2 a.m, okay, inshallah, so and then all of a sudden, like within 15 minutes, my mom's like, okay, Mia, he's like, you won't believe it, baby, the way that shit. She said, maybe they ask color. She said, she's like, he's like, Maya, one push, baby, the banana. And so they were shocked. Good God, they were shocked. What's it called? Alhamdulillah, the nurses, everybody, oh my God, Hodan, congratulations. Because I could go them in like C-section and everything. So they were just like, oh my God, it's a miracle. One push, they couldn't believe it was just one push baby I had and everything. We saw and everything. Adihan, like, you know, we saw and stuff. They said she's completely healthy. 10 fingers, 10 hands, 10 fingers, 10 toes. Mashallah, she was very loud. And then alhamdulillah, I'm gonna, like, you know, dawin kay waxay siiyeen and everything xanuun baabiyaha maxay kora aad kartiin. And then that's when my anako kor xatana lageenay, my parents here came to visit and they were just like, we can't believe, like, you know, already like within 15 minutes, 10 minutes I go to kudash and everything. And I'm really shocked I could do because maskaxda ma taran maxaan isku diyaarinay qalitaan iyo all these bad news and stuff. And then I had to find out that this birth was way easier than my son's birth hata and everything, you know. And then my mom was saying that hata, like, she's like, oh, wiilish gabdhaha isku mid maaha, wiilisha, like, you know, waa kurafaadi and everything, like gabdhaha ayaka kaligood isku soo baxayaan and everything, you know. So she was just like, you're very lucky, wallahi. And then from there, everything's okay, like, you look digaga, everything looks so good. So then the last time andale, we had the whole scare, so this time around, like, you know, they were on call monitoring. My husband and I, we were both scared. My parents were scared. Everybody was scared. Everybody. They were like, okay, you know what if kansarki like urke de isku hand isku alhamdulillah, I went to the doctors and I had way more energy this time. Ayana of Bihay, because God's blessing, why the meaning is God's blessing, and mashallah, she is God's blessing. Golden, like, you know, everybody was saying that, oh, we got medali donted, like before that happened, and everything. Hadana we got medali donted, Hadana, oh yeah, like, you know, like every time and everything and stuff. Alhamdulillah, you know, and everything. At the end of the day, Dr. Farhi Abdullah, he said, like ilahi talasaro, you know, and everything, like gabari ratahada and stuff. At the end of the day, like, you know, ilahi waxna ku si ilahi nu ka qaadi kara and everything, you know. And from there, like, you know, it became like a true testament, like, you know, that ilahi talasaro and everything. You know what, I don't care what these doctors are saying, I don't care what anybody's saying, ilahi and talasaro and stuff, ilahi and igarab haya, I'm gonna be okay and everything. And alhamdulillah, I feel like my life is living proof that, like, you know, and everything, that ilahi is, like, you know, the truth of planners and everything. And alhamdulillah, from there, after like postpartum and I would always get random calls of people saying that, oh, hi Habire, or Misa Hatta, like a guy as well also called one time and they would be like, oh, Mahan, like, you know, Mahan like Kansarka bad, and like, you know, Aida number like number kagnososi, so Misa Hebel number kagnososi and everything. A lot of people didn't know the second time around they could add it too, and they would say that Manoshe Girta, like chemotherapy, like Dr. Kisas, and everything, what do I expect and all of that, you know. And then حتى a story that did touch me was Islan in 2023 summer case. So I had hi Habire محليكو شيء breast cancer. محن هايستات هون عيالي ده and everything, you know. She's like, I don't have any other help. Like, I don't know what to do and everything. And then and I was just like, oh, like, you know, she told me my grandma نبرك said my grandma was like, oh قبل the and everything كسر عيالك كبد bad and everything. So I was telling her like داود واحد كسر, and I told her like, you know, I don't want to sugarcoat it for you, but it's going to be very painful. I said ilmaha like that school geysa that subaxi adoo like cuntadii wax ka soo wala sameeyay that aad markaas haysan everything waxaas lama sameyn doontin and everything because daawada like xanuunkeedii waxaas dhan and everything adaa u baahanta qof inta ku haya. So I told her that just expect for intaad xoogaadii waxaada inta haysan doonin and everything. I said that inta u yeertid waay and everything inta daawada bilaawan intaad you have to make sure your affairs and everything is in order because marka daawadi wax kasta ay ku socoto you're going to need adinta lagu hayo you're going to need and it's not wax xun maaha but you're going to need like a group a community qof dad oo niyada ku dhisayso oo ku dhisayaan oo maxaad u baahantahay dad oo ku dhahayaan ma dhimin doontid like ilaahay waxaan ku siiyay ilaahay ka qaadi karo. Anybody who's going through cancer community waxay u baahan yihiin dad oo ku dhahayaan okay keep going hadda waa inta sameeyay inta ku sii dhimanay kaxsi order and everything whatever and then alhamdulillah I would always get random calls and my husband would be oh yeah so oh qofna I saw and everything they were asking about the cancer and stuff like that. And then one day we were sitting in the house and stuff and my husband and I we were joking saying that oh what is the chances that I'm for like something whatever to help like Somali that are battling cancer and then my aunt would always say habirtay maxay jirtay Hodan like ilaahay duu laba jeer ka badbaadi and everything gurigaaga iska fadhiisid all that knowledge wax ka saaqrisanaysid shaqo kala tahay and everything. She was like I would have been open to business I would have been dadka caawis she was like dadka ma caawisid meelaha ma she's like ilaahay dhaqtar ka dhigo. She's like oh my god why weren't you a doctor or something so and when I'm talking to people as well and everything I feel like I'm very open. I share my story like I'm not it's not something I'm kabsona it's not something I'm qarsanay or anything like that. Yeah I was studying biomedical engineering and then in 2020 I took a break because I was getting married and then pandemic and then uran qaad and the cancer and then I just never went back after that.
hadda marjeynaysa inaad ku laabatid
inshallah hopefully yeah
hadda doonaysa laakiin inaad caafimaad ama kansarka wax ku saabsan
actually like, just recently people were telling me that oh dhakhtar ma gashin or something like that but I don't think I want to do anything with like the hospital specifically but I would love to be a social worker or misaqaf or like
social worker
yeah helping people and everything because there's so many resources there's so many things that people sameyn karaan haystaan and everything that a lot of people don't know and everything aqaanan and everything especially Somali and everything in the older Somali hatta ma yaqaanan and stuff and also people with kids as well or kansar qabaan and everything they don't know that there's a lot of resources there's a lot of things that sameyn karaan oo ku caawin karta and everything. That's where we figured out to open a non-profit like I think this was around in February March markaan dhahayna oo waxaan furna of 2024 I was like oh yeah like non-profit mas wax ma furna and stuff and everybody was saying wallahi yeah samee like you should lock in like samee and everything and stuff because Somalida waxna u baahan tahay but I was just like I don't know like imagine that imaadan dadka hortoodan ku dhaho yeah I'm Somali I had cancer twice waan ka badbaaday haday dhahaan kansarka waa la qarsadaa oo mesela like dadka ishooda xaasidi waxa jiran everything maxaad kula sheeganaysaa dadka maxaad kula sheegaysaa waxa and stuff because there's always people saying that oh it's such a stigma maxaa waay like waa la qarsadaa amsams ma la sheego kansarka qabtid and stuff like that. So it's just like my husband and I alhamdulillah we were at a point where we were like oh this is not something anaka ashiman kan and everything like any type of jiro kala waay and everything but it's kind of scary because dadka ma yaqaanaan and obviously anybody who doesn't know anything about
kugu dhacday inaad qof ogaado inaad kansar qabtid ama kugu dhacayo dadna qofkaas uu ka fogaado kale
yeah oh my god there's people like when I was getting married too and everything people were saying that oh gabadhe waay like cuz I have a lot of cousins and we're all girls most of us there's boys as well but we're mostly girls they were saying that oh te waay ti jirneed miya like we're like yeah so it's like there's people like that and everything and that's why like my mom is very hesitant intaan aan ka hadlo and business na furo because she wants to protect me and say like dad ajir and everything haday boqol qof oo like fiican oo dhahayaan oo waxan wax fiican waay samee all these things haday jirto hal qof baa dhahayo alla maxay qarsato ama alla saani lagu caayin karo but alhamdulillah like qof waxaas oo dhan soo mara oo ilaahi like I saw like first hand like ilaahi like ilaahay soo ufrin and everything that
ilaahay markale chance ku siiyo
so I'm like what I could live if you don't like me I can live if because at the end of the day ilaahay alhamdulillah ana saxana
hada diyaar baad u tahay inaad difaacdid dadka kale xanuunkaasi la nool ama uu ku dhacay saad ugu qabatid
mana
cabsanaysid ma ka hadalladooda
alhamdulillah mkacabsana and everything. Hadda we decided, my husband and I, to open up United States Cancer Foundation. The summer before, June, a month before I opened it up, Dr. Kega and everything, and 2 years and a half, and so many from my transplant, and I entered to the high cancer fiya oh, like I'm so proud of you. Had the feeling, like, you know, like you're a miracle story with the high and everything. Like the midka jamacatka University of Minnesota your story is unbelievable. I would have everything. He said, I remember Dr. Tori saying, like, you know, stay hopeful to have stay, like, you know, I either done it. So, I'm ready. Okay, go ahead, do whatever you gotta do, everything. She was very determined. She, like, you know, she was very hopeful. He said, and everything, because had they, either SAS, hopefully, had they doubted كبد بادي وأسنا. Like, usually sometimes cancer it's called like, you know, wait, okay, cancer and everything, because داود آدي وحق بدنته and stuff, and dadka qaar difaac ma iska reebi karaan and everything.
marka daawada sababta diliinka laakiin
most time intu qofka xoog leeyahay and everything dhaxaya, like, you know, waa sameyn karaa qof iimaan leh and everything oo ilaahay maantan ku noqonayna is great as well. Ayaka they were Christian, laakiin maxay dhahayeen, like, you know, adi muslim ma tahay and everything, but they said that the way ilaahigaada u aaminaysid and everything, adi said, yeah, you know what, it's okay, we got this other farxsan. They said other wiliga what's called oyni sidoo mise other, like, he said, no, I don't want that waxaan sameeyaa ka cabsoonaysan ma ku arkin. He said that every single time you were very determined. Marka soo gasho office-ka, like, he said it was kind of like a meeting or qof business oo kale iimaanayo kale oo dhahay, oh, hi, what's up, but other wax ka soo eri aqaan
sidoo farxsan
was ka farxsan and everything and stuff. He said ma wagid qof, oh, he said physically of course qof jirin oo waqtaha, laakiin dabeecadaada iyo sidaad dhan u dhaqantin everything ma wagid qof jirin and everything. So I was just like, yeah, so muxuu dhahay, like, story gaada recently dad u sheegay oo dhahay and everything. I had some patients come in, oh, I can muxuu dhahay, yeah, stem cell transplant isku diyaariya and everything, but maxay dhahay, no, we don't want to do this and stuff, you know. So ayaka they specifically asked qof Somali muu sameeyay and everything, qof Somali oo stem cell transplant sameeyay oo ka badbaado ma aqaanta. Markii uu qoslay uu dhahay gabadha oo hadda cunug dhashay and everything, she did a stem cell transplant and she's thriving right now and everything, you know. He said, I told your story. And then my other doctor, midka Alina Health Joga, as well, muxuu dhahay, a young couple came in, gabadha hadana cancer qabta and everything. He said that either she had breast cancer, but muxuu dhahay, they were also newlyweds and everything, like ilmi wax min haysan wali, and maxay dhahayen, like, oh my god, like, you know, we're just newlyweds, maxaa breast cancer ka ku sheegisid, all these things and stuff. And then he was like, I told him your story and stuff and everything, you know. And he said, I told her husband that intad, like, you know, your wife, you guys are a team hadda and everything. It's not ayada versus the cancer, it's Labudina versus the cancer and everything, like, you know. Intad
why waxaad u wajahdeen koox ahaan
yeah, she needs her community, dadkiina she, like, you need your community, you need dadkaada, like, the more people I haysatid and everything oo ku dhaxayaan waa ka badbaadi kartaa, okay baa tahda caadi ahaan, like, continuing on with life and everything, the better your outcome is. Dhakhtarana ku sheegi doonaan too, they're going to say, oh, the better your outcome is, like, you know, from you having, like, a whole community and everything. Even hatta if you're on a marathon hada ordisid hada haysan qofna ku ordo waad maxad, you know, caadi iska soconi, like, hada haysan dad dhan oo ku dhahayan, oh my god, go ahead, you got this, you can do this, you're going to feel more confident, you're going to want to be at the end and number one aku guulaysatay after and everything, you know. So that's where everything came and stuff and everything. And he was like, I think you should open something to help Somalis and stuff, whatever, you know, because he said that not only in the cancer department, but a lot of doctors and everything at the hand, like, Somalis they don't and everything, Dawood Marawan, they don't trust our outcomes, they don't trust like, there's a lot of distrust in the healthcare community and the Somali community. So like, hey, you should open up a non-profit organization. And I told him, oh, you know, my husband and I, we were joking around with it, but I don't know if you want to do it and everything. He said, I think you should do it. And he said that, just know I'm going to be the first person only sponsored G'day and everything. I'll be the first person to say, yeah, Gawadan, like, you know, and everything, what she's talking about is real and, like, it's true. Like, I was her doctor. And I was like, okay, hey, so I went back to my husband. I was telling my husband, and I was telling my now team and everybody, oh my God, why don't you do this, like, Mafurna or something? So July of 2024, we decided to create United States Cancer Foundation. And then from there, it was still like, we didn't have, like, the marketing team and all of that. And we're still working on that as well, alhamdulillah. But like, I think it was like September, we still didn't get anything. I was like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to be able to branch off to the hospitals and everything. And at the same time, I was so scared of yeah, like you know, oh I had cancer waan ka badbaaday laba jeer everything. I said hadda online I saw dadka ku caayaan and stuff like that. That's what I was thinking about. But then Alhamdulillah, there was this lady who called me randomly, and the day before, like before that, I was telling like you know my husband. I said like you know, inshallah, like you know, if this is something good for us to do, like Ilahi will give us a sign. If not, like you know, and everything, like you know, just let us know if this is something good or not. And then what's it called? Istighfar, and inshallah, like then I think it was like the next day. I think it was 24 hours later. I know T-Mobile line and software and everything for the business. I know I get a random call from my phone. And then she's like, hi, Sla'ik Habiray. Hodan Mia. I'm like, hi, Habiray. I don't know day حسوستid. أي number is so sick. محان هيستا like hebel or like you know going through cancer, and they want to cancer early summer and everything. Into لفري سنة لحظنا like وش and everything, like what cancer is and what to expect and all of that. And then I was just like, oh okay, yeah, I can come to you. She said, hi Habiray, I know you have لبع عيال. I know that busy at and everything. Just 15 minutes at that. No iman kartid. She's like, that's more than enough. Ilahi, like you know, I said okay. Hey, she said Friday Jum'ah. I said okay. I was so shocked. I was so in disbelief. So I called my husband. I said I got a phone call. Yeah, she said just 10-15 minutes that really man and everything. And he's like, that's our sign. There's no going back at the you know. So alhamdulillah, we just continued on and everything, and then from there we met the next person we were helping, and then the next person, and then hadda we just branched off to like TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, and just like doing more networking and stuff like that. And even hadda doing sometimes in person, everything is very like, oh my god, like I don't know like if the person wants to hear this or anything, but I feel like the more and more people I tell my story to, they're like,
donation is sidii sameeyo ama idinku deeqa lacago sidee ugu deeqi kara organization.
So we have a link and everything, and then we also have a website where you could go to the donation page and donate, but we also have a link that we could attach to today's post and everything and stuff, where they can donate and stuff. All the money and everything we try to give back to the dadka and everything, because everybody like you know marka shaqay waxa ka friisatid daawi wax ku socoto waxba sameyn karin lacag waa iska baahnaan doontaan everything, you know. Inshallah, like you know, we try to help with people like resources intaasino, or like kuwa caafimaadka and everything intaan ku xirno because caafimaadkan ka bedeshad waaye, iyo kuwa social security lacaga what's it called right ku leedahay and everything and stuff. Hadan dadka aad u celinaynin lacag adiga ka inta jirinta and everything qaadan kartid waaye. So you're allowed all of those things and stuff, but then you know all of our grants and all of like the money and everything is going into like making awareness, trying to like do survivors groups and everything, and help like people, either young adolescents, teenagers, ilmahayar, all the way up to elderly as well. Trying to do a lot of awareness and blood drives and all of that and everything. So like you know, so, like cancer is something like a halikra. It's not something like qarsana. It's not something.
Hodan Heshay Kadib dhiirigelin. Ilaahay subhanahu wa ta'ala chance labaad buu ku siiyay. Aan idhaahdo chance saddexaad buu ku siiyay oo ku noolaatid. Alhamdulillah, maanta wax badan baad soo joogtaa, waxaad furtay meel non profit ah oo dadka ku caawisid. waxaan rajaynayaa non profit kaaga in dad badan donation u sameeyaan oo ugu deeqaan dadka cudurkaas kansarka hayo si ay uga faa'iideystaan. ma kula tahay inaad joogto waqtigii aad buug ka qori lahayd noloshaada si ay dad badan u akhristaan oo sheekadaada u gaadho?
Most definitely. I was recently told about it, to write a book, because they said the story guide is very unbelievable why and everything. It's a miracle. I think it's a miracle why a book. Because ayaka ma'amsna ilahi and everything, and like dua all of that like has a factor in it. But inshallah, our goal is to write a book sometime soon in the future and then publish it, so a lot of people can at least like you know buga say they have that book to go back to and say that okay, kabudan wake up bad she had all these milestones, all these like you know alaba hormari lahayd and everything and stuff whatever. But alhamdulillah, like ilahi uga badbaadiye
waliba buugagaas haday dad badan inaga iibsadaan inshallah marka soo saartid waxaynu ugu deeqi doonaa qaybo kamid ah lacagtaasi dadka oo u baahan in loogu deeqo kansarka hayo. marka waxaan rajaynayaa marka buuga inshallah soo bandhigto inuu numberka ugu badan ee buug laga iibsado qof Soomaaliya.
No, thank you so much.
waxaan doonayaa kale inaan ku weydiiyo, ma jirtaa wax kale oo aad samaysay oo aan ahayn dawooyinka inaad cuntay oo is leedahay maanta way ku caawisay?
I think like a lot of dua iyo zakat. I feel like my family, everybody like صدقة بدنا لي بحناية, دعاء بدنا لي أخرناية, and then also just ilahay tala saaro. I feel like markasta every decision I'm sameynay, every waxaan sameynay, even though I felt like I was backed up into a corner, I was just like gacmaha kor taagtay. I was like, you know what, ilahay, please, like, you know, ilahay situation ka bixi and everything. So alhamdulillah, like haddana waa kana habeertay maxay wala dhahaana ilahay like wuxuu ku badbaadiyay laba jeer maxaa waa like, you know, dadka taa u caawisan everything, wax kale buu ku haayay and everything, really storygaaga main dhamaanin and stuff, like really you still have more things to do in this life and everything. So alhamdulillah, I feel like it's a full circle from markaan yaraa oo la dhihi jiray may waa la qarsadaa aamus wax kasta ta hadda, you know, helping people out and everything.
waxaad rabtaa inaad dadkaaga imika caawisid.
insha Allah.
ugu dambeyntii qof xanuunkan kansarka hadda ku dhacay oo maraya stage-yadii ugu horeysay aad maraysay, xaaladihii cabsida ahaa, chemotherapy aan waxba ka garanaynin, qolkii aad dhex jiiftay laga yaabo in qof iyo laba ku soo booqanayeen ama kula joogeen, daalkii aad qabtay, saamaleelkii, xasuustii oo intii oo dhanba ku jira, maxaad kula talinaysaa?
I would say, number one, ilahi markasta tala saara and everything. Pray as much as you can, ilahi, and like, you know, just say me like ilahi, oh please, you know, get me out of this situation. Ilahi, you know, asaga keena asaga ka qaadi karo. And also another thing I would say is that like qof kale ka farxi. That's one thing. My mom, like one thing who they birth and everything is that had that situation ku jirto mise had leedaha ilahi, like I don't see no way out. I don't see like, you know, wax kale shir qof ilahi u baahan oo hadda koob biyo haysan mise waxba haysan hada ka farxisan haxdaas yar ee dhahan everything ilahi kula badbaadin karo and everything.
ilahi baa kaaga dooqaadan kara. So sadaqadu nasteeda ba xanuunka ibhaabisa.
So yeah, so I feel like sadaqada iyo ducada and everything and stuff baan ku badbaada alhamdulillah. And then aydi markas maxay dhahdaa hodan duca lagu dhahaan and everything and stuff. So alhamdulillah, I feel like dua is zakat is like the number one thing. And then need has good as well. Always believe that has main kartid and stuff. There's no ilahi can't ilahi muqsina wax adika awood badan and everything. Wax kasta like awood waa qabtaa and everything.
aad baad mahadsantahay Hodan. Waxaan ku rajeynayaa walaal caafimaad waara.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you.